More computer hardware. So much. Now, this box looks very, very familiar, doesn't it? See that 500-watt power supply? That's just not running a box with a motherboard in it. That was running my Steam and home streaming server. So now you guys are probably wondering, oh my god, is he doing another video? Oh, hell no. This box, we're staring at it because this is going to be, at least the parts, this is going to be part of a FreeNAS build. So the purpose of the FreeNAS build is to have a proper backup solution. So when I am backing up files, it is going to a network-based device with a gigabit card. Also, I can install a gigabit card on one of the PCI buses to get some sort of link aggregation, which my Switch doesn't support, but you know, it's there if I want to do it. This hardware is going to be going into this case here. Now, if you remember this case, this was actually the first case I used when I first built my server. The problem with this case is, as you start loading up drives in it, it becomes really, well, it gets really hot. This case doesn't ventilate that easy. It's got ventilation holes on the side, but that air is more toward the motherboard and the processor. You can forget about airflow because the case is just poorly designed. But it'll only have 4 hard drives in it. It's going to consist of two 2-terabyte drives, which will be for media, so 4 terabytes, and 2 1-terabyte drives, which used to be my media backup. With that will now be backing up multiple computers on my network. This is the old case where I'm going to be putting the hardware in, and here's the eBay case that I got from my media center originally. If you watch that video, this was the case that it was in. This case is going in the trash. It's garbage because the metal was cheap. I knew this was only going to be a one-shot deal, and I think it was worth the $25 that I paid for it, believe it or not. I'm going to go ahead and put this hardware in this machine. We're not going with the IDE CD drive for the reason of IDE. I just don't care for that technology anymore. So let's just remove this drive and we'll go ahead and get all the hardware put in here. Did you hear that squeal? That's bad bearings. So that China fan, literally China fan that I got for like $3 on eBay, didn't even hold up for 2 months when it was in service. So I'll just buy Cooler Master from now on because I've had no problem with Cooler Master fans. Alright, I got most of it together, so we're just going to do a smoke test and make sure it turns on and works like it should. So if I can find the power headers on the motherboard, then we'll be in good shape. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it run, let the processor get some heat in it, and I just want to make sure the board's stable. So once I validate that, I'll I'll go ahead and start playing with FreeNAS, hopefully. Alright, so I got the FreeNAS installer on the USB. We're going to install, no drives are available. But I should be able to install it on, because the source media is the media I want to install it on. Okay, well, I gotta find another flash drive. Okay, so I just put in the drive and I see that it automatically updated the log. That's one thing I do like about Linux. It likes the log, and it logs pretty well. I just don't understand any of the languages or syntax when it comes to the command prompt. Okay, there's my drive. It's a FAT32 drive. I was using it for printer firmware upgrades. We're going to use that drive. It's going to select one disk. I think I do space to select it and enter. It'll blow up the disk. So confirm password. Okay. And here comes the installation. Now I am installing this directly on a USB flash drive from a USB flash drive. So make sure when you do this, it's on a drive that you're not going to be using. So I had to reboot the FreeNAS server because I didn't plug it into a network. And I know you can just plug it in and it'll go, but I wanted to properly start it with the network so I can lock it down on the router, so it grabs one IP address all the time. But so far so good. The flash drive I'm using is really fucking slow. It's one of those Micro Center cheap $3 drives. And it's just really slow, but it's been reliable. Yeah, you know, I had a dud and I had to return it, but you know, they're really slow. They're not that fast. So FreeNAS takes a little bit to load. So my fast SanDisk ones that are coming in tomorrow, it's gonna be much faster boot time. So because the system, it's not gonna be running all the time. I'm just gonna run it maybe a couple times a week and that's it. So this slow boot can't really be something I'm going to deal with every time. It's really slow. Like, it should have been already to the main screen at this point. That's how slow this is. So we'll wait for this. Alright, so we're at a semi-operational state here. I've got the two 1 terabyte hard drives installed. The information was definitely gone off of them. So I have to get my movies and television shows backed up as soon as possible. So I've got a little just regular copy and paste backup because I don't have a Chronos True Image on this darn machine for some reason. And the speed is much better than USB, of course. It does seem to be hovering around 75 megabytes per second. I did dumb down the processor by a whole lot. I don't know if this will give us any information on it, but it tells us we're running an AMD Athlon X2 quad core. Not the most efficient processor, not the most fast either, but I just made it slower. I went in the BIOS and turned everything down. I turned off all the cores, it's only on one core, and I clocked it down to as low as I could get it. I don't remember, but I think I set the bus speed to 157 megahertz or whatever, the overclock or whatever. So it's probably running at probably 2 gigahertz, maybe less than 2 gigahertz. But I didn't really look at the clock speed when I was doing that. I just turned it all the way down. Alright, so look at this. These are two Western Digital green drives. They're greens, I was told. But during the regular blue box, this is basically, I don't know, they screwed up the labeling at Micro Center. Now, why am I upgrading my hard drive space? Well, I have two hard drives here. I'm actually replacing the media drives, which are backed up. So these drives are comprised of two Western Digital drives. One of them is a 750, the other one is a 500. It gives me somewhere in the neighborhood of I think 1.2 or 1.15 terabytes. It's definitely not enough. We got enough storage here to hold all the shows and then some. So I got to go ahead and unplug all this stuff, and also I have to redo the cable management. As you see, it's become quite a bit of a mess because I've had to make some changes to the network. So all the wires are going everywhere again. So let's get all this stuff unplugged and fixed. All right, so I got the surge protector in. Wiring looks like a mess right now, but I'll straighten that up later. But I have spare plugs, and that's really what that was all about. Also, now that I have spare plugs, I can now plug in the power edge and make sure that still works. I'll be turning that on sometime today or tomorrow. But here's the drives. They're open. These are the first time I have ever touched new drives that I have purchased. This is kind of a big thing because I don't purchase hard drives. So in the ad, it said that these were IntelliPower. I mean, with them being greens, they do run slower, but they should have good power features also. I'm wondering if I should raid these. I probably shouldn't, because throughput's really not going to be big for something like this. Oh, look at that. Look at the manufacturing date. April 2015. These are brand new. Well, as new as I'm going to get them. Brand new. let's get the other one out. You know, I'm gonna set the camera down, but brand new hard drives. This is a big thing. All right, I got these in, and we're gonna go ahead and just put them into the server. And what we're gonna do is start our transfer from the Media 3 to the new drives. I think I want to put them in RAID. I just can't trust RAID. Plus, I have these on so many different controllers. I'm just gonna probably use the Windows Stripe thing, or use a hardware-JBOD. I think that'll be more consistent. Yeah, I think we're gonna use the JBOD on the motherboard. Hopefully, they're connected to the same controller. I really do hope they're connected to the same controller. So let's start up and find out. So our 4 terabyte worth of drives are installed, and let me kind of just show you. Like, that's actually what my movie collection is right now. It's 1 terabyte. Now, that took me a while to compile, but now that I'm recording television and I'm not converting anymore, well, you see where this is gonna go. I'm gonna run out of space fast. Well, I hope not. Anyway, there it is. That's our mathematically comes out to 3.61 terabytes, because a gigabyte of data typically is 1024 megabytes, but as you start scaling up, it does become the numbers change. It's not, a terabyte is 1000, 24, gigs. I think it's something different than that. I could be wrong, but this could either be because of the filing system, which I have it in TFS. I'm using Windows, so I think that's best that I use that. I could use FAT32, but that is not good for... Actually, I don't think FAT32 would see this large amount of hard drive space, so it would probably be bad if I did that. But anyway, I'm going to let this run for the rest of the night, and yeah, it's working. Hello, it is January 5th, 2016. Trust me, this is a very late part of the video. I kind of got caught up in the holidays and the New Year's, and I had to stop the project for a bit. Actually, I had continued the project, but I had to stop recording. It was just time consuming. And now I'm back, and now basically the project is complete, sorta. There are some quirks that I'm having a problem with, but that's all within software. So let's kind of look at the server and see where it's come so far. So basically, I've done some labeling so I can figure out where my drives are located, and you see that I've labeled the RAID array with a RAID array thing. A little thing I printed out on my inkjet printer. But anyway, here is the backup server, and right now it's off, and that's for a reason. And let me show you why it's off now. It's running, it works, it absolutely works, everything works, but let me show you why it's off now. So now we're looking at my server. This is my 24-hour server, and basically my backup server is being waken up by a Wake on LAN application. Now, if you don't know what Wake on LAN is, Wake on LAN allows you to wake up your computer if the option is enabled in your BIOS. Wake up your computer from an off state by sending something called a magic packet. This technology has been out since the 90s, so you can look it up. It's very easy to set up, and believe it or not, FreeNAS works with it. Wake on LAN is a hardware option on your motherboard, and there are BIOSes that do not support it, like the Zotac ZBox. Wow, how could they forget something like that? But it doesn't support it, so you may want to look at your motherboard manual or your computer manual or whatever to figure out if your system supports Wake on LAN. But anyway, basically what this thing does is ping this IP address, which is the backup server that I just built. This is the MAC address of the backup server. This task is Wake on LAN, and the task was started Sunday, December 13th. Now, this is supposed to happen weekly on a Sunday at 12:50 a.m. Because the main backups, the automatic backups that are started by my backup program, are started at 1 p.m. So I'm giving the server more than enough time to start up and boot up and spin up all the drives and then initialize all the services and all that. So here's the log of it sending the magic packet, and basically it's on a schedule. So every Sunday the server turns on, and I'll actually show a demo, and once the server's on,
If everything falls into place, all the backups start. Now I've had that fail over the course of weeks. I don't know why, so I'm just investigating that. But the backup does work if you start it manually. So let's go ahead and fire up the server. So here's the Wake on LAN. I am going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see the server turn on. I'm not pressing any power button, and remember, this is a FreeNAS server, not a Windows server. You see it's running now? And I just sent the magic packet to it at 8:43. So yeah, now this is not functional, the CD drive. I purposely left that in. I didn't plug it in. I don't need any more problems from something as mediocre as a CD drive, which I won't be using on this FreeNAS box. Basically, when this thing is fully up, I can connect to it via my network drives here, which say TV. Yeah, see, they're offline now, but basically, I can access these two drives once that FreeNAS backup server is on. So yeah, I mean, this is convenient when it works, and it always works. It's just when the backup doesn't work, and I think that's our Chronos True Image thing, which I am going to have to replace that software with a newer version or whatever. So basically, the server is up and running. It works perfectly. The throughput's pretty good. I couldn't be happier. I don't have any major problems, which is actually detrimental to my having a backup. The backup works fine. FreeNAS is very lightweight, and I guess when it comes, I won't show you the interface. But anyway, it's working. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I don't know if I forgot any other details, but basically, the storage that's in this server is it's 2 terabytes. Actually, it's 2 terabytes for the general backup. That's backing up all Windows computers. It's backing up my documents, pictures, music. Just the little things. And then what's my media backup? My media backup actually is, I think my media backup is also 2 terabytes. No, my media backup is 4 terabytes. I bought the Seagate Constellation drives from eBay, and those are also installed in this system and backing up my system. So got a good deal on them. I mean, drives are so cheap, of course, if they're from eBay. But these are Constellation drives, which means they were in a server, which means they've got a lot of uptime, and FreeNAS is reporting some errors every time I turn it on. The errors, they go from like 180 to 182, so nothing too serious, but I know the drives are not in the best of shape. So the reason why I have this on a backup, on a schedule, is so these drives are not running 24/7 and wearing themselves out. So it turns on every week and backs up and then shuts off within 4 to 8 hours, depending on if I've changed the schedule or not. So everything's beautiful when it works, and it works most of the time. I don't know if these drives came up yet. FreeNAS is extremely lightweight, but it probably did not come up. See, they're not up yet. So let's see, can I ping the device? Well, I can ping it, but I don't think it initialized all the services. So anyway, that's the end. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for any of my upcoming videos and tutorials. Happy New Year. And I think we've got a full schedule for this year in terms of videos. I am appreciating all my subscribers. Please, if you have questions about any of my videos, my Steam and home streaming videos, the server, and this, feel free. I'm not an angry guy. I don't get paid for my videos, by the way. I lost my paid feature back in the day when I kept clicking on my own videos to see how they looked on YouTube, and then Google thought I was stealing AdSense. So, you know what? I said, you know what? I was about 2 seconds from removing my YouTube channel. Then I'm like, I don't need the money. I don't need the money. So, I just do this for fun, and I like to interact with the audience. I'm getting more subscribers every day. Very small subscriber base, but it's controllable. So, thanks for watching, and also thanks for subscribing.